Hi friends, good morning. Miss Emily's got her hat on today because she's gonna go outside as soon as I finish this craft and go garden. I'm gonna go plant some flowers. But before I did that, I wanted to start a craft that I wanna show you how to do. It's gonna be 1 in 2 parts because we're gonna do some watercolor. And when you use watercolors, you have to let it dry before you do anything else with it, okay? So let me turn this around and show you what you're gonna need. Okay, I have my watercolor paints. And I'm only gonna use the yellow, orange, and red. I'm really only gonna try to use the yellow and the red and make the orange in the middle, but if I need the orange, I'll use that. I'm using a big fat brush because it's easier to color more of the paper with that than if you have a smaller brush. I have a cup of water to rinse my brush. And then remember when we use watercolors, we need some paper towel to dab our brush because if it's too wet, then the color is too light. I have a piece of white construction paper, and I also got a piece of white printer paper to try this on as well to see because if you don't have white construction paper, it might work okay on this. So I'm gonna do a test. So this is considered Holy Week in the church, kids. On this past Sunday, we had Palm Sunday, and that's when Jesus came into Jerusalem, and they were waving the palm branches and throwing their cloaks down on the ground for him. Today is called Maundy Thursday, and this is when they had the Last Supper. And then tomorrow will be called Good Friday. And Good Friday was the day that Jesus actually died. And we're gonna make a painting of the cross and the beautiful sunset on Good Friday. And that's just a representation or a picture for Christians of Jesus's death. But the good news is in 3 days, he will raise from the dead. He will come out of the tomb. Remember the story that I read? He'll come out of the tomb and the angel will come down and tell all of his friends that he is risen. And that's the beauty and the miracle of Easter. So we're gonna make a painting of the beautiful sunset and the crosses that were on the hill, the Golgotha hill. Remember that from the story? Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna start painting. Here we go. So I've got my water and I'm gonna get my brush wet. And then I have my paper towel here. I'm gonna dab, dab, dab. Right, remember we dab, dab, dab because you don't want it to be too wet. And then I'm gonna start with the yellow. Start with yellow. And in the middle, actually just below the middle, I'm gonna start painting. Now, this is what happens when it's too wet. You don't get much color. So let's try it again. If it's not enough color, don't use as much water. This is better, much better. Gotta get my paint primed. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a workout. So, this is what I've done. And this dark part is where it's wet and it will dry. So I did just above the halfway point on my paper, all the way to the bottom, and I tried to go from one side to the other. So this is the construction paper, and then this is the printer paper, okay? So the next color I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start at the top, and I'm gonna do the red, okay? So let's try, we're gonna get I've got my paint, my water, and I'm gonna get the red. Kind of have to prime that paint a little bit and get it going. Okay, so let's see what it looks like on the printer paper first. You can kind of see that, guys, right? And I'm just gonna bring it down all the way into the yellow. Because when you mix yellow and red, What color do you get? Remember? Get orange. Yellow and red make orange. And what we're gonna make is a beautiful sunset. Okay, let me show you. So see how I've got my red up here and my yellow down here, and right here it's starting to make orange. Now if I want to brighten up that orange, I just go to my orange paint and add it right there in that little strip. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to my orange paint and go right in that strip. Or I could bring my yellow and add that to it too. Okay, so this is what I have on the printer paper. That's what that looks like. I'm gonna let that dry. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on my construction paper, okay? Hang on. I wanted to remind you, the less water you have, the darker the color, right? Don't forget that. Oh, look, Assembly made a mistake. I got a little bit of my black or blue or something in there. That's okay, because you know what? The sky isn't always perfect. So I'm just gonna keep painting. Painting right over it. Accidents happen, right? So, here's what the construction paper looks like. It's very wet. So I have the red up here and the yellow down here, and then I brought the red down into the yellow, and then I added some extra orange and then brought some of the orange up into the red. So now what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna go plant some plants, and I'm gonna go wait for, I don't know, maybe an hour and let this dry. And then I'll come back and we'll finish this project, okay? I'll see you in a minute. My fingers are gonna be really much dirtier when I get back. Maybe I'll show you what I'm planting too. That'd be fun. Oh my gosh, guys, I've been outside digging in my grass, and look at how sweaty I am. I'm so hot. But check this out. Look at how great these horizons that we painted look like. Hang on. So I put them up on like a cookie sheet, like a cookie cooler. And look at that. That's our construction paper. And that is the printer paper. Now what we have to do is we're going to make a hill right here and put 3 crosses on top. Okay, so we can do this one of 2 ways. We can use our black paint if you have black paint in your watercolors, or you could use a marker. So I'm gonna do both, all right? Hang on. You wanna make sure that the yellow part, this part is closest to you. Okay, so it's at the bottom of the page. Look at how sweaty I am, gross. Okay, so I'm gonna do this printer paper one with a black hill. So I got my paintbrush wet and I put some black paint on it. And I'm just gonna make a black hill. See how I did that? And then I'm gonna color all this in. Ooh, it's dripping. Hang on. Hold on. So let me do this whole thing. I don't know if I'm gonna like this one as well as a marker. You could cut out a hill from construction paper. You could do that too. That actually might work great if you have mom and dad help you do that, because this isn't doing what I thought it would do. It's not as dark as I want it to be. But, yeah, it may be okay, right? Never know. How do we learn? We make mistakes. Okay, let me do it a little darker. So here's my hill painted. It's not terrible. I don't hate that. Okay, so this is supposed to look like the sun going down, and then the beautiful pink sky above it. Now, I'm gonna make 3 crosses on that hill. The middle one represents the one that Jesus died on, and the 2 on either side, there were 2 other men next to Jesus in the Easter story. It wasn't in the book I read, but it is in the Bible. So who knows what a cross looks like? Lowercase t, very good, kiss your brain. So I'm gonna make a straight line. I'm gonna go sliding. Whoops. So there's my first cross. And now I'm gonna make 2 more on either side. Smaller. I think I got too much water. Okay. Now, you could have mom and dad write, "He is risen," and then you could trace over it, okay? So that's what it looks like with paint. Mine's dripping right there, so maybe not use so much water. I'm gonna show you what it looks like with marker now. Hold on. The best marker I could find is one of my whiteboard markers, so I'm gonna use that, okay? You can use one of your magic markers, or you could use crayons. So again, yellow side toward you, yellow at the bottom, and I'm gonna make that kind of half circle deal. See that? And then I'm gonna color all that in, okay? So I'm gonna do it really fast and not great, just so you can get the idea. And if I were doing this without you guys watching me on the video, I would do it a lot better. Okay, now I'm gonna make a big cross at the top, a big lowercase t, and then I'm gonna put 2 more next to it, 1 on either side. See that? How cool is that? And then you can either write this or mom and dad can write it. He, H-E, is risen. That means he went to heaven just like we will. Okay? Now, I'm gonna do one more thing. Just to show you another option. Hold on. If you have any black construction paper, you could make a little hill out of that, right? So I'm just gonna cut kind of a semicircle. Who remembers what a semicircle is? That's right, half circle, that's how we sit sometimes. It's gonna look kind of like that. And then you could glue it on. You could glue it on like that. You could do it like that. If you wanted to do that, you could do that. Or you could even like rip it. Rip the paper and make like a ripped paper hill. That might be cool. I'm thinking of too many fun ideas. Anyway, I miss you guys. Love you. Happy Easter.